If you would like to come and sit on your knees on the floor up here, you can. Just give me a little washing space. If you are in front, you need to be really low.
Can I stand over here?
Yes. Okay? Just make sure you're respectful of other people. Okay? So, what we have done here is I have set up the same experiment that we have done. It's supposed to mimic, what is this supposed to mimic or pretend to be? The what plateau?
Grand Canyon.
Yes, the Colorado Plateau in the Grand Canyon. I've added one thing. I've added some pebbles. Okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about which travels farther, the sand, the clay, or the pebbles. Do we have any predictions to begin with? What do you think is going to happen?
The pebbles, since they might be heavier than sand, that turns into clay. Because clay doesn't really have weight.
Okay, so you think that what is going to happen with the pebbles? Are they going to move farther than the clay, or is the clay going to move farther?
The pebbles are going to move farther.
So do you think the pebbles are going to make it all the way into the basin?
No.
Okay.
Not in the basin, but like they'll still move. Like,
And you think the clay isn't going to make it to the basin?
it's going to make it into the basin, but
Okay.
pebbles won't because
Oh,
it's too big.
Oh, so what you're saying is the pebbles, you don't think the pebbles are going to move as far.
They're not going to move as far, but they're still going to move
There's-
faster.
They're going to move, but anybody else have an idea? Yes. Oh, good question. This is a standard. I'm not doing the flood. Okay? Anybody have any other ideas? Yes.
I think the clay and the sand will mostly travel into the basin, and the pebbles will probably not even move.
So you think the pebbles won't move or won't move as far? Why?
Because the pebbles are heavier, and the clay has barely any weight, and the sand is medium.
So you feel like pebbles, heavier, not going to move as far. Sand, medium, going to move a little farther. Clay, hardly any weight, going to move farther. What? Well, that's a good idea. One more, yes.
I think the pebbles are just going to move a little bit, and the clay is going to mostly get above it, and a tiny bit of sand.
So maybe a little bit of sand will get there. You don't think any of the pebbles are going to get there? All right. Are we ready to find out?
Wait, the pebbles.
All right. I need somebody to make sure that if this needs to be moved, it gets moved. Will you sit down right there? All right. Here we go. If you would like to move up to the sides, you can. You don't hold it. Just move it if it needs to be moved. It shouldn't need moving. Here we go. We're getting a little bit of flooding on the plateau, but not bad. Most of it's absorbing into the sand. Yes, sir?
I think the rocks might make the water change course.
Oh, so the water might have to change course to go around the rocks.
It's already doing that, kind of.
Yeah, it is. You are correct. It is kind of going around the rocks. So,
I think the rocks might hold it together. I think the rocks might fall if there's an avalanche. Oh.
A little baby avalanche.
If one of the rocks gets
A
caught in the
little baby
avalanche, then
avalanche.
so as our as our canyon's being formed, what's happening with those pebbles? Are they moving into the, are they being eroded into the canyon?
No, they're they're some of them are building a dam.
Yeah, it's kind of going around them.
Yeah, but it's kind of building a dam too.
So are those pebbles moving as much as the sand and the clay?
No. I think that prediction was right.
Some of you had pretty good predictions.
When it first comes into the
What's making it to the basin? Is it the sand, the
both
clay?
Yeah, the
What's
sand and
what do you have more of, sand or clay?
clay,
So
'cause it's
somebody mentioned that the clay has almost no weight, so it's going to more likely to make it to the basin. Okay. And what? So is the water in here moving fast or slow in the actual canyon? Is it moving faster or slower in the canyon?
Faster.
A little faster in the canyon. Notice as it gets down here, it slows down a little bit. As it gets down here, it slows down. It's still moving, but it's moving quite a bit faster right in here, and that's because more water is trying to get into a small space.
Speeding up, and it seems like that meander there is turning into part of the canyon.
Yep. This meander is remember this was kind of sitting on the edge, and now it's kind of in there. Notice none of these rocks up here has even really moved yet, or these pebbles has really even moved yet.
I think they're building a dam.
But those of you who are close, if you can see, there is some erosion happening under, especially this first rock. It's kind of undercutting. Remember we talked about undercutting?
Oh yeah, it's gonna undercut, so the bigger rocks might, move a little bit because of it undercutting.
That one rock over by the canyon might move a bit more. Because it kind of ended up in the canyon too.
Huh. Let's take a look at what the river's doing now.
it's forming a
It's going.
circle kind of.
Someone had mentioned the rocks might change the course. Notice that the river is now going kind of around the pebbles instead of through the pebbles. So whoever mentioned that maybe the pebbles would cause the river to change course, I'm kind of thinking you were right. Because the river right now, there's some of it going around this way, and some of it going around the other, but there's really no water going through the middle anymore.
You can see some gravels moving too.
Mm-hmm.
Gravel.
Very cool. All right. If you are standing in the front, would you slide to the back? And those of you in the back, come forward so you can take a look. Girls, come forward. You're all the way in the back. Come on forward. Just slide right in here. There's a spot right here. If you were in the front, no, slide right. Come on, right up here.
Is it okay if I stay here? Okay.
So, can you see how the river is going around the pebbles? The pebbles, because they're not eroding away, they're not being weathered and eroded, that the pebbles are here still, and the river's going around.
I think
See
maybe
that?
like when all the sand is kind of eroded away, and the pebbles might finally kind of, the sand that's underneath them, that might move after.
They might move a little if really good observation. So what she's saying is, if enough sand gets eroded underneath the pebbles, then the pebbles might move a little. Yeah.
Because then there's nothing holding it up.
That kind of happened to this one here. It moved a little because all this sand was eroded away and it slid down a
It
little
used to
bit.
be like right here and then...
Yeah, very good observation.
So
And notice how our river is really going around
and
now.
also there would be nothing like holding it up.
So I'm going to dump this out, and I'm going to let Mrs. Carroll get a close view of our canyon now. Notice that the pebbles really hardly moved. The sand moved quite a bit. If you go to the basin, you can see the clay floating in the water.
I also kind of see that the canyon here is going kind of down, and then it goes straight and then back down again.
Another observation is the river cut a deep little canyon between these two pebbles right here to get through. It didn't erode through the pebbles, it went between them.